Hi team, and welcome to Back Care Advent. Today we're going to focus on calves, ankles, okay, trying to increase range of movement at our ankle. I understand this is a back care program, so you're probably thinking, well, why are we working on our ankles? So let's think about that for one moment. Whenever we're walking, running, or generally doing anything while we're standing, while we're loading through our feet, our ankle and foot mobility is essential for what happens higher up the chain. So if our ankles are really stiff, we've got no range of movement in our ankles, our knees have to try and move a little bit more to create a movement pattern that happens in our hip that fires all the musculature off that can give us gait. So stiff ankles can very often lead to lower back pain, hip problems, and inability to fire core musculature. Because if the ankle cannot flex as much as we want it to, it doesn't fire muscles off, which then means the next one in the chain can't fire off, and so on and so on and so on, until eventually we come upon a weak link. And it's quite often up through here, because that's when things change over, forces change over. So when we're walking and our foot is planted, it's lifted on the other foot, and then it moves through, we flick the foot, and then we land here. So if the ankle is an issue, more often than not, we hold the tension and the torque and the forces change in our hips, and that's why we generate lower back pain. So we're going to run through a couple of different mobilizations and stretches for the lower limb to help higher up the chain. So part one, we're going to come down to kneeling, and you want to make sure that there's a wall nearby. So to begin with, place your toe, your big toe, right up against the wall, and you're in a kneeling position. More padding on the knee if you want it. And then we're going to drive the knee forwards until it touches the wall. Everything feels okay. We're going to move it back a little bit. And then we go again. And then a little bit more. And you're going to keep moving back until you can't touch the wall anymore. So let's come all the way back here. So my knee is flexing over my toes, which is absolutely fine and exactly what we need to happen for the Achilles tendon to fire. But I can't hit the wall anymore unless I lift my heel, in which case we've reached maximum, we've reached end range. So wiggle in a little bit until we can. Now bearing in mind, a lot of the load here is going through the Achilles tendon and then the calf. So tendons work best when they're loaded. So this movement becomes dynamic, as in you're moving through a range of movement, coming to end range and then backing off. And you'll notice after you've done about 6 or 7 reps that you can no longer feel the tension, and that's because the tendon is completely loaded and it's in its happy place. So it's really important, now we've created that surge, that you stand up and you walk and you move. You get rid of that surge and you allow the tendon to do its job, which is to pump and move the calf. You'll notice that the leg that you've stretched feels entirely different. It feels more responsive, like, woohoo, it's sort of pushing you through. And you feel like you've got more range, more power, less pain. So, you know what to do. We rebalance, we do the other foot. Start again, right up against the wall, touch. Yeah, that's too easy, move back. And you keep going. So see this leg, much more tension in this side than the other. Now I've got a long existing knee injury on my left side, so I spend a lot more time rehabilitating that side, but also the nerves are a little bit screwed over on that side, sorry. So my right side is the one that's more realistic at what tension my body is feeling. So I need to spend a bit more time working through here. So this is activating my ankle, activating and loading the Achilles tendon through its favourite range of motion. Great. And then we stand up and move. There we go. Everything feels a bit more balanced now. That's great. But we've also got our toes, which are essential for positive ambulation and other things. So walking backwards is a really great way of getting your foot to learn how to plant properly. Walk backwards because the balls of your feet touch the floor before your heel, so you can be more purposeful with your landing. Okay, so we've got knee to wall Achilles calf stretch, walking backwards, and then one more that we're going to do today is we're going to focus on that big toe, because the big toe is the one that activates all of the movements higher up the chain. So if your big toe is really stiff and sticky, you can't then generate more movement. It doesn't matter how much you focus on anything else. You could do neurological stretches and all these other things. If your big toe doesn't move very well because it's stiff, it's all for nothing. So we can do toes up and then stretch against the wall here, but it's not big toe specific. So it's tricky because all the other toes come along in line. So for me, one of the things I've learned over time, just through practice and trial and error, is it's my body, right? I can touch it however I like. Other people need consent to touch me, but I can touch my own body however I like. Now we want big toe movement, right? So hold your big toe and push your other toes down and then rock and roll. And you'll notice how unstable you feel when that big toe is out of the picture. And then I can swap around. I can push my big toe down and I can lift my other feet. Oh, stability comes right back. I can feel my calf engaging immediately. And then you switch, big toe down, other toes up, big toe up, and you move until eventually you can do it yourself. Big toe up, little toes down, and you move through. It's called toe yoga. You could use an upright, you could use a plate, you could use a book. It doesn't really matter. As long as you can single out that big toe, you'll be able to activate more musculature moving up the chain, giving more balance, more force production, more torque absorption, and less back pain. Hopefully that all makes a little bit more sense for you.